Hello and good morning. Put a date on your paper. Today is 1/11. Okay, so I want you to draw an obtuse triangle. Well, an obtuse triangle looks like this, where this angle is bigger than 90 degrees. That is called obtuse. An equilateral triangle is where all the sides are the same. A scalene triangle is where no sides are the same. Find the area and perimeter. Well, perimeter is the easy one, so I'm going to do that first. So 8, 7, and 4. 11, so that's going to be 19. And perimeter is in one dimension. This one says find the area. Remember I said put dots on here. Some of you did it, and if you didn't, I want you to do it. So it's base and height, so it's going to be 3 times 7 divided by 2. So that's 21 divided by 2 is 10.5, and that's going to be square inches. So area is square. Okay, let's keep moving. Copy these down right here. All right, so today we're talking about parallelograms. A rectangle is a parallelogram. So write this down. A parallelogram has opposite sides parallel and opposite sides congruent. In other words, this side is the same as this side, and this side is the same as that side. So they're parallel and they're equal. Okay? So now that we know the sides are parallel and everything, this one is a rectangle, so it's just length times width. So it's 4 times 5, which equals 20 square inches. This one, however, is a parallelogram, but you need to do the base and the height. So put your dots, move that 7 down here, and it touches the 7, and it touches the 3. So it's just base times height. And that's it. Base times height. Okay, today you have a worksheet which looks like this. So if you can't be with us, copy it down. Here's the back side. And when you're done with this, I want you to work the following. So number 1 is the worksheet. Number 2 is page 389, 1 through 14, 25 through 28. Make sure you draw the diagrams. And there it is. All right, let's turn our attention now to college algebra. Okay, so on college algebra, let's take a look. You have some rules. The rules for the vertical asymptote is set the denominator equal to 0. For the horizontal one, if the top exponent is smaller than the bottom exponent, then the axis, or rather the horizontal asymptote, is y equals 0 by default. If the exponent on top is equal to the exponent on bottom, then it's going to be whatever the ratio in front here is. So let's say it's a 3 over 2. So it would be y equals 3 over 2. And then finally, let's say that for number 3, that the ratio on top is bigger, like that. Then you have no horizontal asymptote. Now there's one called a slant asymptote. Write this down. A slant asymptote is when the exponent on top is exactly one bigger than the bottom. So write that down. If top exponent is one bigger, then you have a slant. And I'm going to show you how to find the slant today. So we're going to watch a video on that. And in order to do the slant, you have to know how to do long division. Okay? Now I didn't work these two, so I'm going to skip those. But let's talk about the slant. Now, long division is what I'm going to teach you now. So copy down number 1. Okay, so you're taking this and you're dividing it by this. Write that down. This is your divisor. That's your dividend, and the answer is your quotient. Now the way you do this is you say m times what is equal to m squared, or m goes into m squared m times. So I'm going to put the m on top of this one. Now you multiply to both of these. It's like long division and arithmetic. So m times m is m squared, and m times negative 8 is negative 8m. And then you subtract. When you subtract, this one changes to a minus, this one changes to a plus. Scratch that out. So this cancels. So now you're left with 1m. Bring down the next number. M goes into m one time, so put plus 1, and then multiply. 1 times m is m, 1 times negative 8 is negative 8. Now subtract. When you subtract, this becomes a plus, and you end up with a negative 3. This is your remainder. So you say plus your remainder over your divisor, which is m minus 8. And that's how you do long division. And you have to be able to do that to get the slant. So I have to stop and teach this to you. So look up here. We're going to do long division again. Try this one right here. So set it up. K minus 1. Now try and do it. K goes into k squared, k times. K times k is k squared. It should be the same. And then k times 1 is negative k. Now subtract. When you subtract, you get this. That changes or reduces out, and this gives you a negative 6k plus 10. And then k times what is this one? That would be a negative 6. And negative 6 times k is negative 6k. And negative 6 times that is a positive 6. Negative times a negative. Subtract. This changes, and this changes. This cancels. And you're left with 4. So it's going to be plus 4. So it's plus 4 over k minus 1. And then you're done. And that's how you do long division. Now, copy this one down right here. And the way this one works is you're missing the a in the middle. See, it should be 2, 1, 0. So you got to write that. So a squared plus 0a minus 28, all divided by a minus 5. And then you work it the same way. But you have to have a place value for the one you're missing. So you go a times a is a squared. So a times a is a squared. That gives you a negative 5a. And then you subtract. When you subtract, that changes. That becomes a plus. And you end up with 5a minus 28. And then you do it again. A times 5, so that's plus 5. So that's going to give you 5a. And then minus 25. When you subtract, this becomes a negative. this becomes a positive, and this cancels. So you're left with a negative 3. So it's going to be all of this plus a negative 3 over your divisor, which is a minus 5. And that's how you do long division. And today you have a worksheet which looks like this. So if you can't be with us, here it is. Remember, we need to be able to do long division to do the slant height. And the slant height is when the top exponent is exactly one more than the bottom. Okay, you'll see it on your graph if it has a slant height. But I want you to be able to find it. So this is your worksheet. It's all long division. If you get stuck, ask for help. And that's it for today. I'll see you in class.